what attracted you to doing this project?
Oh, well, first off, I liked the script. I thought it was positive. I thought it had a really good message. I figured it would probably be airing at this time of year, which can be a hard time for people who are single. And that appealed to me because it gives you hope if you are thinking you might have given up on meeting another person. It also helps you not lose hope if you haven't met another person and if you are alone. She's a posy kind of gal. She's a matchmaker. And I think that's kind of fun, too.
Is this kind of project easier or harder to do than doing a sitcom?
Well, they're very different. A sitcom goes on and on. The thing that I did like about this is that I approached it, the way they scheduled it, it was almost like doing a series because they sort of scheduled people according to storylines, so that I was working with the husband and the daughters for, not the husband, but the love interest and his daughters for a whole section, a chunk of the movie, and I was working with Diane and Hal for a chunk of the movie, and I was working with my assistant on the show for a chunk of the movie, so it sort of felt like I was doing a series. But doing a sitcom is like you have a different episode every week, and you just sort of, your character is the only sort of common ground in doing a show. Whereas with a TV movie, the whole story is sort of unfolding right in front of you, and it takes place over the course of 3 or 4 weeks, and it's pretty intense, but you dive into it, and I love it. They're just very different.
Now, being a huge TV geek, I've loved everything you've done. I loved Murphy Brown, Hope and Faith, and I also loved Maggie Winters.
Oh, thank you.
Which of those three to you did you love doing the most?
Well, that's again, it's one of those things where they're all very different. I loved sort of working with Kelly because she was like having a sister. It was like meeting a kindred spirit there with Kelly. We really were like sisters in real life, so that was really fun. And being in there and working in New York and having the energy of New York was really fun. And the pool of actors you get to choose from, they're mostly theater actors, so they're usually brilliant, the ones that guest on the show. So that was, in and of itself, an amazing experience. But Murphy Brown, I was working with such incredible people, such incredible writers. I was so young. I grew up on that show, and I couldn't trade that experience for anything. Candace really taught me how to act and be a pro in this business, and I couldn't have asked for a better person to follow in that way. And Maggie Winters was my first swing at doing a lead in a show, and I really got to see what it was like to be doing what Candace did, where you have the bulk of the dialogue and the bulk of the responsibility, and you don't always get the jokes. People aren't always laughing at what you're saying, and it's a little bit odd at first, but it's important to be able to do that, because on Murphy Brown, I was the joke. Every time I opened my mouth, people would laugh, and I was like, oh, this is kind of easy. But when you're leading a show, it's not always that way. So,
when you were doing Murphy Brown, did you get letters from people who worked in the television industry saying, oh, you remind me of this person, or people saying, oh, wow, that's the type of reporter I want to be when I grow up?
Yeah, embarrassingly enough, there was a lot of people who said, you remind me of myself, and it would be reporters I would work with. But I assume they meant physically more, or the fact that they might have been beauty queens, not exactly like Corky was, because Corky was not exactly all that, I would say, together. I'd like to say she wasn't a ditz. She was just very compartmentalized as to what she knew about.
If you could right now return to network television, would you like to return in a sitcom, or would you like to return in a drama?
Oh, I don't know that I could. I don't know. I never say never. I don't know about me doing a drama from week to week. Just being on Criminal Minds, I have a Criminal Minds airing this week. That was quite an interesting experience, just doing drama. I love doing sitcoms. There haven't been a lot lately, so that's why I've been branching out a little bit more. But I do prefer doing comedy.
I have to go here soon. I do have one more question, and that is, besides this movie, have there been other projects that you've done, or one that's very close to you that you wish more people had seen?
Well, probably Carpoolers, which was the last show that I did. I thought it was a very, very funny show, and I carefully look at scripts and make those decisions, and I found that the cast of actors and the writers were amazing. I just think, unfortunately, we just didn't get, we were, around the writer's strike, and when the writer's strike happened, our show didn't have legs to come back, so.